Needless to say, these are some of the most hard-line Iranian patriots that could have been selected to give these speeches. And without failure, they gave some of the most quote-unquote pro-resistance, hardline, refusing to bend the knee, refusing any sort of conciliatory stances to the U.S. empire, to the imperialists, to the men who murdered Sayyid Ali Khamenei, to the men that murdered, we can't even call them men, to the criminals who murdered the 168 schoolgirls in Manab and committed untold amounts of terror against the people of the Islamic Republic of Iran during the Ramadan War. It became extremely clear to me when I was in Iran that whoever thought it was a good idea to assassinate Sayyid Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, really did not think these things through, right? I mean, everyone already knew this. It was abundantly obvious. It's just so sickening that someone would do something like this to a man as honorable, incorruptible, and visionary, as much of a visionary as Sayyid Ali Khamenei, right? But just looking at this from a purely pragmatic point of view, like a strategic point of view, the U.S. wants to weaken Iran, balkanize Iran, chaos in Iran, war upon Iran, right? They want a leadership in Iran which is going to be more amenable to their demands and softer to the United States, right? So they murder Sayyid Ali Khamenei, the beloved leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they somehow thought that this was going to go well. They somehow thought, I don't know how, that like people would rise up in the streets and overthrow what remained of the Iranian government. But the truth couldn't have been more different than that. When I was in Iran and I was speaking to Iranians of all stripes, right? People who you can just tell were maybe not the biggest supporters previously of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the government. You know, everyone had some sort of opposition to the United States at this point in time. There's, of course, the extreme revolutionaries in Iran, the base, the foundation of the revolution, which always have been opposed to U.S. imperialism. But there's always, going to be some people in every country which don't understand the vision, which have fallen for the propaganda, who may have been watching Iran International, whatever that garbage, brainwashing slop is that the Zionists shoved down some Iranian citizens' throats. And some of these people, when I was speaking to them in Iran, maybe you can kind of tell that maybe they weren't the most diehard of revolutionaries. Maybe they have, they're just concerned about their family, their what's in their bank account, and okay. And even these people, when speaking to them, some of them were brought to tears, talking about how could your country bomb 168 schoolgirls in Manab? How could they kill 40 plus girls playing volleyball on the second day of the war? How could they do this? How could they murder all these innocent civilians? How could they blow up entire apartment buildings? Regardless of what they think of their government, they don't understand the savagery, the barbarism of the United States. And I don't understand it either. I mean, there's nothing I could say to make them feel any better. And I wouldn't try, because I would say I feel as bad as they do. But frankly, you can't understand how someone feels in that situation when it's their own countrymen who are being slain by the imperialist beast of the United States. So I don't know who thought this would be a good idea to commit these acts of terror, to murder Sayyid Ali Khamenei, the beloved leader. But regardless of whose idea it was, it is backfired in the biggest of ways, okay? Some people thought that Mojtaba Khamenei, the new supreme leader of Iran, some people thought, oh, maybe, he will be, more conciliatory. Maybe he will bend the knee to the United States. Maybe he will feel pressured and weakened. Maybe he will be like Delcy Rodriguez, what she was to Maduro. Maybe. Couldn't have been more wrong about that. And if the past several months of Iranian resistance were not proof enough for you to understand this simple fact, I want to draw your attention to what took place during the funeral of Sayyid Ali Khamenei, Mujtaba's father. Okay? During the last day of the funeral, Sayyid Ali Khamenei, during the last day of the funeral, the supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, he came out with this message. We pledge to avenge the blood of the martyred leader and all the martyrs of these two wars from the criminal and disgraced killers. Revenge is the demand of the nation and must certainly be carried out. We pledge to avenge your pure blood and that of all the martyrs of these two wars from the criminal and dishonorable murderers. These criminals, whose list is available from head to toe, will take with them to the grave the wish of a peaceful death in bed. Whether we are there or not, this will be accomplished, and soon every free person around the world will fulfill a part of this divine mission. Regardless of what you think of that, we cannot look at that message and say that he is in any way, shape, or form willing to bend a knee, willing to be conciliatory toward the United States, admittable to the demands of Trump. No, this is the exact opposite. If you're looking at this from a pragmatic point of view, the U.S. screwed up in the biggest of ways. They committed horrific acts of terror, and they thought they were going to get away with it, and that they haven't. And it's not just this message from the new supreme leader of Iran that I wanted to draw your attention to. I also want to share with you two of the individuals that spoke at the burial of Sayyid Ali Khamenei in Mashhad, Iran. The two individuals which were chosen, presumably, by the Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei to speak at the burial on the final day of the funeral procession in Mashhad were none other than, number one, Dr. Saeed Jalili, who's a member of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. He also was the second place, the runner-up in the 2024 Iranian election. He was dubbed as the revolutionary and the race the more hardline candidate in the 2024 presidential election. And notably, he has been the most outspoken, though he is not an outspoken individual. He's actually a very quiet individual when it comes to the media and the press. He was the most outspoken individual against the Memorandum of Understanding and the processes that unfolded surrounding the negotiations with the United States. Dr. Saeed Jalili, he was one of the people chosen by Mujtaba Khamenei to speak at the funeral of Sayyid Ali Khamenei. He said, taking revenge on enemies is the right of the nation and duty of officials. We are at a critical juncture, and what will determine the outcome of this confrontation is the resilience of the side that stands for truth and justice in this war. It is a very big deal that Dr. Saeed Jalili was chosen to be one of the speakers at the funeral of Sayyid Ali Khamenei. There are many people which could have been selected to give a speech of this matter of importance. It could have been someone who is more neutral on these sorts of matters. It could have been someone that is more in the reformist camp. But Mujtaba Khamenei selected Dr. Saeed Jalili, as well as the grandson of Imam Khomeini. Now, the translation here is messed up. Fars News Agency posted this, and it said Sayyid Ali Khamenei, but it's actually the grandson of Khomeini. So his name is Sayyid Ali Ahmed Khomeini. He was also chosen to be one of the speakers at the funeral of Sayyid Ali Khamenei. He said, whoever seeks to negotiate in order to reach peace with America is a traitor. Whoever sends a message of friendship to America has a vile and impure mouth. Is it possible for Imam Hussein to make peace with Yazid? Is it possible for us to make peace with criminal America? Our very identity is one of uncompromising resistance against arrogance. He also said the official who sleeps while not thinking of revenge for the martyred leader must doubt his own conscience. So these are the individuals that the Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei selected as the people who would address the mourners, the people who are grieving during the burial of Sayyid Ali Khamenei in Mashhad, Iran. Needless to say, These are some of the most hard-line Iranian patriots that could have been selected to give these speeches. And without failure, they gave some of the most quote-unquote pro-resistance, hardline, refusing to bend the knee, refusing any sort of conciliatory stances to the U.S. empire, to the imperialists, to the men who murdered Sayyid Ali Khamenei, to the men that murdered, we can't even call them men, to the criminals who murdered the 168 schoolgirls in Manab and committed untold amounts of terror against the people of the Islamic Republic of Iran during the Ramadan War. Needless to say, Iran did not move in the direction the United States wanted it to after murdering its leader and carrying out this war, and it is not going to get any closer if they return to war once more. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.